And we are back with UCF 85. Yeah, I didn't say it wrong, Tyler. Season 8, Episode 5 of HTF Bets. Following the catastrophes in Sin City, that was Super Bowl 58. My gosh, I'm so tired of the Chiefs winning at this point. I can't even comprehend what's going on right now. He might be second greatest of all time, but that's for another day. Now that there's no more NFL until the fall, we're going to be tearing down football into its two main parts. That's going to be its name and its roughness, which means we're going to be talking some Champions League round of 16 preview, followed by UFC 298 predictions, and last but not least, our surefire picks of the week with 3 different leagues being talked about. Now we've got half an hour of great betting content coming after a night where about $23 billion were gambled, according to the internet, where everything is true. And to find out what leagues, what games, and what players to lose all your money on for the next 7 months should be, stick around because HTF Bet starts right now.
Hit it, boys. What you talking about?
And thank you guys for sticking with us. As always, Giovanni and Ezra. I'll start off with you, Ezra. How are you doing? How is the Super Bowl treating you?
I actually almost hit on my Super Bowl parlay, but needless to say, I'm mad that the Chiefs won.
Yeah, I almost won twice, but that's besides the point. And Giovanni, how about yourself?
I'm good, man. I had Chiefs money line. I did lose my parlay, but I did have Chiefs money line.
That's okay.
Congrats to you.
Yeah, and so
Here's your
we're
participation
gonna
trophy.
toss it over to Patrick over at the stool, joining us once again for some soccer talk. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm very excited. This is the second time on this prestigious stool, and I'm excited for this segment. This is gonna be a good
The
one.
stool is actually like really freaking prestigious. I don't know if you guys know, but it's made of wood. Anyway, so we're going to be tossing it into our Champions League round of 16 predictions. I'm going to start it. Actually, I'm going to toss this in order of the worst odds to the best odds, which means Giovanni,
I'm first.
you're first.
Okay.
What do you have for us?
I know you guys always complain that I never do any underdogs. You guys always say I do a favorite. So
Because you do.
Yeah.
For sure, pick.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this time I picked RB Leipzig versus Real Madrid. Their odds are sitting at plus 255. They're a good, young, and up-and-coming team, and they have good experience in the Champions League. And they're 7-2-2 at home, and their differential is 14.9. I want to highlight Lois Openda. He leads with goals scored by far. He has 16, and the second next person has 6 goals. And I feel like they have a real chance at winning because Real Madrid does not have any center backs playing, such as Danny Carvajal and Tchouaméni. So.
Yeah, they've been filling in really nicely for them while they've been out, so yeah.
I do want to ask you, though, Vinicius Jr. currently totals out with 7 goals, and you said Openda has 16, 15 or
Yes.
16?
Yes.
However, Vinicius has a greater odd in his favor of plus 150 to Openda's plus 175 of being an anytime scorer. Why do you think that's the case?
Because honestly, Vinicius is just a dog. I feel like he's the better overall player.
Can't put it any other way, really.
But I didn't touch any player props. I only touched the game line. That's
We're
all
playing
I
it
put.
safe. We're playing it safe because after yesterday, we can't risk any more
not
money.
to attack Giovanni here, but I feel like this is such a hard thing to even talk about because you're comparing RB Leipzig to Real Madrid. Real Madrid is synonymous with Champions League and soccer in general.
Boom.
They've won 5 of the last 10 Champions Leagues. They've won it the most times out of any European team with 14. I just don't see Leipzig having the depth that they need to even handle Real Madrid. Like, despite them missing Militao, Rudiger, and a couple other guys due to injury, they are more than capable of just demolishing Leipzig, in my opinion.
I don't fully disagree with that, and you brought up how they've won 5 of the last 10. A lot of those have been with Ronaldo, though. So I'm going to kind of put a little asterisk next to those because a lot of the time, especially post-Ronaldo, they have lost in very early rounds. So I'm not going to say that it's too far gone for this, but I do want to say Real Madrid probably will win, but RB Leipzig is definitely a sleeper team in this, for sure.
Yeah, and if we're going by the same little method of last week with putting down $1, you will get some money. You know,
How
not
much
lose
would I
too
get?
much.
You get $2.
Yeah, I think $2.50 if the math serves me right. But regardless, I'm gonna move on to the next, I guess, better odd after Giovanni's, which would be my own. I'm taking Atletico Madrid beating Inter Milan. However, Atletico Madrid's odds currently set at -105, but they are still underdogs to Inter Milan's -130. I'm taking AM, got a little nickname there, because of one man and one man only, Antoine Griezmann. He has double-digit goals, double-digit assists, and is the only guy in just about any roster that I've seen so far that fits that category. You mentioned it before that both teams are very defensive-minded, but I think the fact that Atletico has that kind of offensive firepower in Antoine, they can puncture a hole at least once in the game, and if he doesn't do it, he'll assist it to somebody else who will.
Yeah, definitely. I think Antoine Griezmann is like probably the most focal point of this Atletico Madrid team, especially attacking this Inter Milan team that's super, super, super heavy on defense, especially playing their back five with DeMarco and Dumfries hanging around the back, even though DeMarco will go forward sometimes. They both definitely just chill around the back and say, absolutely not, you're not scoring against us. Antoine Griezmann and Lautaro Martinez are both very similar in play style. Not necessarily in play style, but more so in like just the fact that they are carrying their offensive load for the entire team. So I could see this game, I could see the full aggregate of this series being 1-0 in either of their favors, and it will be on like a penalty. I don't see either team scoring outright, in my opinion.
I actually think you guys are sleeping on Alvaro Morata. He's also just as productive as Antoine Griezmann, so those two paired up front, I think they're going to punch a hole through Inter Milan, because Lautaro Martinez, aside from him, who do they really have up top compared
That's
to
what I was
Atletico
going to say.
Madrid?
Because Martinez, he's obviously carrying the load for Inter, but he's only got 2 assists. You can't say that he has that sort of gravity that you can rely on him to, like, if he draws in 2 defenders, 3 defenders, just kick it out to somebody else. Whereas Antoine Griezmann does have that. You mentioned Morata. He's the other player on Atletico Madrid that's in double-digit goals, which I think is huge for the team. So, you have those options on Atletico Madrid. But Patrick, I'm going to kick it back to you real quick. You've got Borussia Dortmund. Talk to us about what you have over there.
So this one was a bit more of a personal pick. This was also kind of hard because Borussia Dortmund, they're my favorite Bundesliga team, and so it's been a rough couple of years supporting them. But they're playing against PSV Eindhoven, who are first place in their respective league, the Eredivisie in the Netherlands. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a very close game, I think, because to me, they're both very similar. PSV Eindhoven, they're also home to 3 U.S. internationals, so they have a soft spot for me, Malik Tillman, Serginho Dest, and Ricardo Pepi. But not to mention their main man up top, Luke de Jong. He is balling out. He is playing out of his mind this year, so he's going to be a real threat up front. But Borussia Dortmund with Nicholas Füllkrug and Sebastian Haller, who just won the Africa Cup of Nations with Ivory Coast, he's going to be a great addition, probably in the second leg. I don't see him playing this first leg because they just won literally yesterday. So I have Borussia Dortmund coming through, but it's going to be I think it's going to be a very gutsy, hard battle because Edin Terzic, their manager, he hasn't convinced me at all during his tenure.
No.
So I could see him completely blowing this and PSV getting the upset, but I'm sticking with Dortmund getting that win.
I do want to ask you, Dortmund currently sits in 4th place in the Bundesliga, and they haven't lost in 8 games. Do you think -170 odds is a little bit disrespectful for Borussia?
Honestly, no, just because yes, they're in good form, but so is PSV. Like, they're not a team, they're not a step over either, so it's going to go down to the wire. Honestly, I see the aggregate score maybe being Dortmund winning 2-1 over the course of 2 games. That's what I would say.
All right, we'll see how that pans out. And last but not least, Ezra with the biggest sweep.
Hey,
It seems. Hey, what are you, Moana?
Just hear me out.
Talk about Man City.
Just hear me out. I don't think any of you should have been surprised. Of course I was going Man City.
That's fair.
I'm a Man City fan, and I am in desperate belief that we are going to win the entire Champions League this year. I think that Man City's odds sitting at -4,000 probably isn't even low enough. We are versing Copenhagen, who did actually surprisingly beat Manchester United in the group stages. But I think their fairy tale story ends here in probably the worst way possible, in my opinion. Like when you have guys like Erling Haaland coming back, Kevin De Bruyne coming back from injury, and Man City's in flying form right now. Like, we are doing great in the league, and I think we could carry that over. Honestly, I could realistically see the aggregate score of this entire of these next 2 games being like 7-1 in Man City's favor.
And something, just the squad values of the 2 teams. Manchester City has a squad value of 1.26 billion euros. Copenhagen, 84.6 million euros. So, not that that necessarily means anything.
Yeah, it does.
But rest in peace, Copenhagen.
Yeah, we'll see you next year, buddy.
I do want to ask you this as well, Ezra. Man City currently sits as the 2nd best team in the EPO, and I mean, it's not even a question at this point that they're going to win that game. You mentioned Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is coming back. How many goals is he going to score?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you because we win without Erling Haaland scoring goals. We win with Erling Haaland scoring goals. So honestly, he could score 1. He could score all 6.
All 6.
Genuinely, like I'm so serious. I mean, he did it in his time at Salzburg before he moved to Dortmund and Man City. He literally scored I think 13 times in 4 games. So I don't put it past him, especially against a really, I'm not going to say poor Copenhagen team, but a lesser compared to Man City Copenhagen team. He could definitely probably score about 5 on his own.
5. Okay, before we wrap this up, I want to ask this to you as well. For the most bang for your buck bet for Haaland, what would you put? Like in terms of how many goals you think he would score?
Most bang for my buck for Haaland to score? Are we talking about one game or both?
Just this one game.
Just this one game?
Yeah.
I'd just say just one. Be safe with it because we
Just
could
one.
because like
We're
I
talking
said,
bang for your buck.
like I said, it's like one of those things where Haaland doesn't always score, but we still win by a lot of goals because we have many different people that are good at scoring. So I'll say just one for now. But if you want to go higher, I wouldn't be mad at you.
Yeah, you're lucky you can afford it. Unlike Copenhagen. Sorry. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We'll be right back after this commercial break to talk some UFC. See you soon.
So, Tyler Brown, right? It says in my notes you're an Oklahoma fan.
That is correct.
So, let me ask you, bud. Is Texas back?
All right, I put on a brave face a lot, but this year, I'm really scared that they are, man. Okay, they just beat Alabama. They're gonna be top 4 in the rankings. And last year, they beat us 48-0.
Yeah.
It was humiliating. We're the Oklahoma Sooners. We were the best ever. We were talk of the town. We had Baker, Kyler, and Jalen 3 years in a row. And now, are we good? I don't know. We haven't won a national title since 2000. We're number 18, I think, and nothing matters, dude.
Sometimes we build up these walls thinking they're impenetrable. But sometimes you have to knock these walls down to build up bigger and stronger ones. And you got to be tough through that. It's hard being an Oklahoma fan at this time, but grass is always going to be greener on the other side of the hill, buddy.
Is it? I cannot live through a Texas national championship. I can't. I'll never recover.
Do you want to talk about Lincoln Riley?
What'd you just say to me?
I just want to know if you want to talk about Lincoln Riley.
You listen here, you court-ordered quack!
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us once again. I'm going to pitch it right on over to our luxurious stool, hosting Jared Fox. How you doing over there?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I'm actually happy that the Chiefs won because I don't want the Niners to get 6 rings. Sorry.
Are you okay with the Chiefs getting 2 in a row?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't care.
And your
Tom Brady's still the GOAT, so that's all I got to say about that.
You're a Steelers fan. Why is it? Okay.
Who's the GOAT? Ben Roethlisberger? Come on. No.
We'll talk about this all in 7 months, but today we're going to be looking at UFC 298 predictions. We're going to be previewing 2 fights from that fight going on in Anaheim, California. We're going to be making our own predictions for both fights. We'll also mention our own little bet, like how long the fight might last, how they might win, etc., etc. Now, first off, we're going to be looking at the American, that is Robert Whittaker, with minus 205 odds of beating Brazilian Paulo Costa with plus 70 odds of taking it all. Jared, I'll pitch it over to you first. What are you going to tell me about this middleweight combat?
First of all, I'm pretty sure that Robert Whittaker is from Australia or New Zealand, but that doesn't matter. I got Robert Whittaker winning by knockout. I got him knocking out Paulo Costa like 2nd round, probably. Paulo Costa, you're a bum. Honestly, bro, who have you ever beat, bro? You haven't fought in like 2 years, and you've never beat anybody good. So he's just always so overhyped because he talks a lot of trash and he's super muscular. All these highlights of Paulo Costa that we have are from the Trump administration. None of them have been in the past 4 years, bro. So Paulo Costa is the most overhyped fighter in the UFC, and I can't wait for Robert Whittaker to knock him out in the second round.
I 1,000% agree with Jared here.
And I know you do, Ezra. I love it. I
Paulo
love
Costa
it.
is one of the most overrated fighters in the entire UFC right now, and I can stand by that. I mean, we're talking about a guy that struggles to make weight, got forced to move up to a different weight, cried about moving up to a different weight, and called out of his fight, and then moved back down to his weight and won against a guy who was on a retirement fight. Let's be for real here. Like, Paulo Costa is still living off a hype train that died when Izzy beat him. How is he still up top in these ranks, in my opinion? Like, obviously, the whole wine drinking scenario, I don't want to hear it. You suck. That's straight up like how it is. I think Robert Whittaker beating him is also going to happen. Like, honestly, earlier in the second round. I'd even argue first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Giovanni, I'll pitch this question over to you. Costa last fought in 2022. Jared mentioned it. It's been a while. It has been 2 years since he last jumped into the ring. He's kept backing out of fights throughout the last year. Why do you think that's the case, and what kind of approach do you think he's going to take to going up against Whittaker if he even does so?
Well, obviously it takes a lot of mental and like physical prowess to get ready for this type of game. But I kind of agree with them too. I feel like, well, did Jared say second round?
Yeah,
I said
Jared
second round.
I had second round, him getting knocked out. So he has to take a very serious approach. He has to get ready, and I just don't see it happening.
Do any of y'all feel like Robert Whittaker losing by knockout in his last fight could affect him this fight? Because he did lose.
I'll
he did
answer
lose
that
to
if y'all
current
don't want
champ.
I
answer
mean,
that.
definitely, like Giovanni mentioned, that takes a mental toll on you. You don't come into the next fight the same way, but I mean,
I feel like
When the other guy
you gotta
sucks,
come
when
in
the
the
other
next
guy
fight
sucks.
better.
No,
you gotta have a lot of good practice in
stop
between.
that. Stop
I'm
that,
talking about Paulo
Ezra.
Costa sucks.
Are you talking about DDP?
I'm talking about when DDP knocks out Robert Whittaker.
Are you saying DDP sucks?
No, I'm saying
Okay.
Paulo Costa
Okay,
sucks.
okay. We're on the same page. DDP, I mean, I don't think it takes a toll on Robert Whittaker. I mean, DDP, I was saying that DDP was going to knock him out, and that was a really good fight. Like, Robert Whittaker still fought well, but DDP, there's levels in this sport, and DDP is at a different level right now. Robert Whittaker is still, like, number one contender type of fighter, and that's why I think he's going to beat Paulo Costa, but, like, him losing to DDP isn't going to just, like, form any rust. Like, I definitely think he's going to come out swinging. First round, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a first round knockout because I think he's going to come out slow, try and get his range, but I think it's going to be second round knockout.
All right, perfect. And with that being said, we're going to move on to the main event of this UFC card. That's going to be Alexander Volkanovski taking on Ilya Topuria. Right? Topuria currently sits at minus 108 odds of taking it home, with Volkanovski having minus 112 odds. This featherweight championship looks like it's going to be a good one. I'll start with you, Ezra. What do you think about it?
This is going to be one of the best featherweight fights in the last couple of years, 1,000%. I mean,
Agreed.
we thought the same thing about the Yair fight. The Yair fight was close for a second, and then Volk just showed that he was next level. But we haven't seen somebody that's really almost the same frame as Volk versing Volk yet for a while, since maybe, Chad Mendez. I think this is going to be a pretty big fight. I'm almost scared to bet on Volk for this fight. Obviously, Volk is greatest featherweight in history, if not even one of the greatest of all time. But this is a scary fight. This dude is super young and super powerful. And like I said, he fights very similar to Volk. It's very crazy. When you're talking about like a guy who has a small frame, a lot of power, great takedown defense, great takedown accuracy, I think this is going to be a very close fight. And I definitely agree with these odds, how they're sitting right now.
Yeah, Jared, I'll kick it over to you as well. What do you think about this fight? Because I know you got something to say.
So it's actually, I kind of agree with Ezra. It's spicy for sure. Like, this is definitely a way better fight than the co-main because, listen, I still got Volk because you can't bet against Volk. That's like betting against Patrick Mahomes. So I got Volk in this fight, but Ilya is well worthy of an opponent. Like, this is going to be a really good fight, but you just can't bet against Volk. Like, he is, like you said, the best featherweight of all time. I wouldn't put him up there with, best of all time just in general, but featherweight-wise, easily the best of all time. His last two losses were against Islam Makhachev, who is literally a weight class above him. Before then, the last time he lost? I don't even think it was in the UFC. So he has 3 losses in his career, and 2 of them are Islam Makhachev that happened last year, and that's just because Islam Makhachev is Islam Makhachev. Like, that's not fair to even say that he lost. I mean, he did lose to him, but it wasn't featherweight, so I got Volk for sure.
And as you mentioned, Volk has been just dominating this league. He's currently sitting at 26-3-0 record, and Ilya actually has 14-0-0 as his record. So they're both undefeated. So that's going to be an interesting little thing. Who's going to take their first loss? But Giovanni, I'll pitch it over to you last but not least. What do you think will be the deciding factor of this fight?
Just to piggyback off of Jared and Ezra, Volk is 8 years older. He's 10% better on significant strikes, and he's great at keeping you down. That experience definitely will play a big part in the fight.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Perfect. And with that being said, actually, you know what? We still got some time. Jared, I'm going to pitch it back over to you because we love hearing you talk about UFC.
I love it.
If you have to pick any other bet, like if you had to say, oh, this guy's going to win in this amount of fights, this guy's going to take it the distance, what are you going to put down?
So I'm actually going to kick it to a completely different fight on this card, if that's okay. I'm going with the Merab. Who does Merab fight?
Merab is fighting Henry Cejudo.
Henry Cejudo, that's right. Triple
That's a
C,
great
baby.
fight.
I'm going with Merab. Now, listen, Triple C, he's no slouch, bro. He's called Triple C for a reason. That means he won the championship 3 times. He had 3 different championships at the same time, including the gold medal in the Olympics. So Henry Cejudo is no slouch, but we did just see him lose his last fight to, was it Izzy?
Sean O'Malley.
Or Sean O'Malley? Oh, that's right. It was Sean O'Malley. Yeah, so, yeah, I got Merab. I got Merab. I was talking about Triple C too much. But, yeah, I want to see Triple C win, honestly. But Merab is just an absolute beast. So I don't know what the betting odds are on Merab.
Minus 200 in favor of Merab, plus
Minus
170 in favor of Henry.
Minus 200 for
So
Merab.
you're
I'm
in the green on this one.
I like that. I like Merab at minus 200.
As
I
a-
would pair that with Volk is scary to bet on, but I would pair it with Robert Whittaker for
Bobby
sure.
Knuckles for sure.
Then you got a nice little 2-leg parlay that I'm pretty confident in right there.
That's not too bad. I mean, you are in the minuses once again.
not
got
when
the
you
king of
not when you
minuses
combine
over
them. Not when you combine them.
Just wait for my surefire.
here. Yeah, you got a plus in there thrown in. I saw that. But Ezra, what do you want to say about that Merab fight?
Oh, that's a great fight, in my opinion. I mean, I think it's kind of disrespectful that Merab hasn't gotten a title shot yet, in my opinion. Like, we've watched this guy beat top of the bantamweight division over and over and over again. But obviously, he wasn't going to fight his own, partner, which was Aljamain Sterling as the champion at the time. But Sean O'Malley's the champion.
That's
Why
right,
is
baby.
Sean O'Malley fighting Cheeto Vera? Cheeto Vera literally just lost to Corey Sandhagen. What excuse other than the fact that they fought before and Cheeto has beaten him? Let Cheeto win fights first. Give the good fight to Merab. But that's what's making me think that Merab is going to come out and set the tone for this entire fight. He might even, I'll go as far as to say, he might even, either knock out or submit Henry Cejudo, which
You
is
think he's gonna
insane to say.
submit Cejudo? That is insane to say.
It's insane to say. But, when you got to, literally do your very best to be able to earn a title shot, apparently, in this case, he's going to do it. This is the guy to do it. He is an absolute workhorse on the mat.
And with that all being said, thank you guys for joining us. And thank you, Jared, for joining us as well on our just beautiful stool. Like, my God, I can't get enough of it. But we'll be right back after this commercial break with some surefire picks of the week. Once again, we're talking 3 different leagues. Stay tuned to see who's talking what.
Hello, my name is Tyler Brownrigg. I hope you're enjoying watching whatever show it is that's playing right now here on Hitting the Field Network. And if you're interested in more of our shows or want to know more about the one you're currently watching, don't worry, I'm here to tell you. Our week starts off on Mondays with HTF Bets, hosted by the Bets Boys, Andrew Montana, Ezra Hines, and Giovanni St. Cyrin. You can catch that show live Mondays at noon for all things betting in sports. I highly recommend it. And then you can follow it off on Tuesday with The Combine, hosted by the illustrious Ty Patton. If you're in for a more laid-back, kind of podcast-style show, a lot more casual, that is definitely the show for you. Maybe you'll catch some Ty Squared action with me on there. Wednesdays, every week, you'll be able to catch the vlog, learn about what's going on behind the scenes here in the studio at Hitting the Field, get to know more about us, especially the people behind the camera, who they are, and what we do to make these shows every week. And on Thursdays, live at noon, you can watch the main show with me as your host every Thursday, where we'll be covering all of the major storylines for any sport, be it football, basketball, hockey, soccer, you name it, we'll be talking about it on the main show. And then Friday, you can watch Nighttime with your hosts, Matty Glass and Patrick Previty, for all things college sports, especially with a focus on UCF sports and maybe the ones you haven't heard about so often, like tennis or women's track and field. It can be anything college on Nighttime. And if you're interested in joining Hitting the Field and you're a UCF student, DM us on any of our social medias at Hitting the Field. And also give us a follow on all those and subscribe to this channel if you want to catch more of our content. But enjoy the rest of your show. As always, I'm Tyler Brownrigg, and I'll be seeing you on Main Show.
And here we go, following one of the hardest betting nights in America. Hey, I'm America. We're going to be talking about our surefire picks of the week. We each got a record of 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. I think you're the most recent winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
And the Super Bowl did land on
All
heads.
those minuses.
The Super Bowl
Crazy.
did land on heads, so how do you feel about that?
I feel good. I told y'all, don't care about the stats. Go with your heart.
Go with your heart, go with your heads. Now, I'll start it off real quick, talking my Lakers because we finally have a chance to win.
And who'd
my
you bet
goodness. And they're beating the Pistons tonight, I think at 10:30 p.m. I'm so excited to see the Lakers play mediocrity, if that's even a word. I just pulled that out of me. But I'm taking the Lakers to cover the 7.5 point spread with minus 105 odds. I'm going to be taking the over of total points sitting at 230.5 with minus 110 odds of happening, which I'll get into later because I kind of changed my mind about that, but it's already on the graphic, so whatever. And then LeBron going over 7.5 assists with also minus 110 odds taking place. Yes, these are all minuses. Yes, I'm probably going to miss on like just about all of them, but the Lakers are 18-9 at home. Pistons are 4-21 away. My goodness. Detroit just lost Bojan, which is the reason why I was kind of shaky about my over. Yeah, he's a Knick now. Yeah, be happy as well, whatever. But yeah, I think just the fact that Detroit lost Bojan might mess up, the point differentials and all that. But I think it does boost the Lakers to win, or at least maybe make an effort at winning that game. Also, both teams have a player averaging around 23 points. Somebody else with 12 rebounds, 8 assists around that margin with LeBron, Anthony Davis, Cade, Jalen Duren. They've all been balling out. But yeah, that's my pick. I know, Ezra, you were kind of shaking your head a little bit throughout.
I was just shaking my head because, of course, the thing I got roasted for, picking all minuses and betting against the Pistons.
I know.
Look who is now doing all minuses and betting against the Pistons.
Is that when you got your dub?
The Milwaukee
Possibly.
one? I think you did win it. You did win it,
yeah,
'cause
definitely.
We were
yeah,
working.
yeah.
So we need Mickey Mouse Detroit Pistons to get our dub for
No,
for
because I'm not
surefire.
going to
I
win
did
it.
join
I'm
the
not going to win
Celtics
it.
side last week when you bet against the Celtics the week before. I don't want to hear that.
But time out. You know what's crazy? The Pistons have actually been playing the best they have all season. So
They're on
I
a
feel like
two-game win streak.
They won 3 of their last 10, Giovanni.
it's very good for the
They're
Detroit
2-5.
Pistons.
They've won 2 games of the last 5,
don't
which
know.
is their best brand of basketball.
I'm
granted.
feeling a dub against the Lakers tonight.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Stop. I'm gonna cry.
I
I'm gonna lose
really
my
hope
mind.
so.
It would happen because we're the Spurs at the time had like 4 wins or something, beat the Lakers. So at the time we were responsible for 20% of the San Antonio Spurs wins. It's insane. If it's gonna happen anyway, it's gonna be Lakers. 2 good things can happen in a row. But Ezra, I'm gonna pitch it over to you next. I talked NBA. You've got EPL.
Yeah, I'm going back to the soccer. I know we just talked about it, but we're coming right back.
Highlight reel goes
I'm going to be
crazy.
talking about Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. This game is going to be happening either today or tomorrow. It's going to be today, actually, at 3 p.m. And I'm going to take Chelsea's money line, which may be actually very surprising because Chelsea hasn't been in the best form recently. They did win against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, but they also got beat 4-2 by Wolves. And also 4-1 by Liverpool. But I think this is going to be a good comeback win against another side, Crystal Palace, that has not been in good form recently. They did just get 5-0'd by Arsenal the other night and 4-1'd by Brighton. So I'm going to bet that Chelsea does come out of this game with a win and we'll be back on the winning track. And then I'm going to also bet on both teams to score in this scenario. That's sitting at a minus 130. I feel like it's a pretty easy bet. I'm more scared of Crystal Palace's side because they're not really flooded with strikers like that. But, I mean, we watch guys like Eberechi Eze, one of my favorite players in the league. Michael Olise, he's been fantastic this season. I could see one of them definitely coming in off one of the flanks and scoring because of Chelsea's fullbacks this season, they haven't been that great because of injuries. So I could definitely see one of them coming in scoring. And then my final bet of this, I'm going to take Cole Palmer as an anytime goal scorer. That's sitting at plus 160. I don't like this too much because it is Cole Palmer at the end of the day. He has been their best scorer this season. I think he has 12 goals this season. But he does score a lot of penalties. And I'm pretty much just hoping that Chelsea get a penalty in this scenario because it's going to be Cole Palmer on it and Cole Palmer will score it.
This man's spitting. Not gonna lie. This man's spitting. I do want to ask you though. Chelsea has won 1 of its last 4 games.
Yes.
What kind of a mental toll is that going to bring to the table? I mean, you are going up against a 15th seed?
Yeah,
in
15th.
Crystal Palace, but that's always going to affect you somehow. What do you think that effect will be?
I think this is a game changer for Chelsea. This is a make or break right now. If they lose this sets the tone for the rest of the season. if they win this, they can finally gain some form back. Hopefully, get another couple wins, especially coming into a Man City game next week, and then Tottenham the week after. So it'd be better to be on the winning side of football before those two games. So I think they'll definitely take this game a lot more seriously.
Yeah, that's true. Chelsea currently sits at the 11th seed in the EPO, which I thought they would be higher for some reason, but
They should be higher after spending $1 billion on their team.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a cruel summer. But Giovanni, I'll pitch over to you last but not least. What are you going to talk to us?
Y'all gonna be ready for this.
NHL.
Yeah, Giovanni bets too many minuses this. Giovanni bets too many favorites that.
That's why you have 2 minuses on the
still
board.
have
All right. Well, like I'm saying, we're gonna cook today, and it's actually funny because I don't see them listening to mariachi. Last week I won my first surefire, and the week before that I had to listen to mariachi. But I'll just go ahead
Because all of us had minuses in that 1 week.
And like
except
I
for
said-
me, and I still listened to mariachi. I took one for the team.
And like I said,
I won, so I
Content.
didn't have to worry about it.
if I win NBA, I'm gonna go with NHL, and I'm a man of my word. So I'm gonna go with the Calgary
What word?
Flames. Flames versus Rangers. I'm gonna go with Flames money line. The Rangers are actually #1 in the Metropolitan Division, and the
Yeah.
Flames are 5th in the Pacific. So it's upset time, guys. Come on.
I was about to say.
The Flames are on a 4-game win streak, though.
Yeah.
They turned the corner with their offense. They have 14 goals in their last 3 games, and I'm gonna go with over on total goals. It's sitting at 6, and the odds are at -115. And then I'm also gonna go with Noah Hannafin for more on time on the ice with 25.5 minutes. It's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be very high scoring. And Hannafin is actually, in February, he's averaging 26 minutes a game. And he literally played 25.5 literally the last game that they played.
Wow,
So,
you are sitting on this line. Wow,
Yeah.
That's crazy. So before we finish off this segment, I do want to bring this up because I have 3 minuses. Ezra has 3 minuses. You have 2.
I don't have 3 minuses.
You don't?
Cole Palmer is a plus.
Oh my God, you're so right. Okay, so I have to run this by both of you.
Who has the minuses now? Please let me know.
Hey,
He's right
I'm still
here.
gonna lose.
I'm not
I
the
promise
minus
you.
king anymore.
Yes,
I'm
you
not the
still
minus
are.
king
We're
anymore
just
either.
we're co-kings, whatever it is. Okay, because each of you guys has 1 minus. I'm asking you this for the sake of content, right? If you don't hit, are we doing mariachi in 2 weeks because we have next week off?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's fine.
Deal?
Do it.
Okay.
Deal.
Might have some mariachi. I'll definitely have headphones in my ears 2 weeks from now. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a weird little episode. Super Bowl just got us kind of hungover, even though we don't do that. We'll tune in with you guys next week. No, I literally just said 2 weeks from now because next week we got President's Day. And until then, we will be right back and go Knights and charge on.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.